Hi everyone, Phil from Tech for Techs. Today we're going to be looking at this mammoth of a screen. It's a 32-inch pixel screen. It's an IPS screen. It's 4 millisecond response time, and it's got a frameless design. And to be honest, if you have a look at it, it looks pretty good. Even though it's not 4K or HDR, it does actually look pretty amazing. You're probably even mistaken it for a higher resolution screen at a distance. But if you're interested in purchasing this, make sure you click on those links in the description just below. You'll also get the latest prices there as well. Okay, so this is what we've got. We've got the Pixel monitor. That is the piXL, which, not to be confused with a Google Pixel. Pixel is obviously what screens are made up with, hence why they came up with a name, or at least that's what I'm guessing. But you've got a representation of the screen there, so you can see roughly what you're going to get. It tells you it's a 178-degree wide viewing angle, so that means you should be able to look at it at pretty much any angle, apart from behind. And you should be able to see the picture. It's a full HD, so it's nothing fancy like 4K or anything like that, but it is a frameless LED monitor, which basically means it's got a really thin bezel around the edges, so it's not like lots of plastic everywhere and so forth, which is good, especially if you wanted to have two screens next to each other. And again, it's 32 inches. It does come with HDMI connection, as well as DisplayPort, and it is a VESA wall mountable, which means you can screw it into use a mount or an arm or something along that lines and screw it into. Just make sure if you are connecting it up to a wall or a mount that it supports the weight. We'll show that in the description below. On the side of the box, not much to see, just basically says the same things I've just said to you, as well as the resolution, which is 1920 by 1080, which is HD. And it says the contrast is 1000:1. The other side is identical to the front, basically, so there's not much to see there. And the other side is exactly the same again. On this side, they do have the resolution and contrast crossed out for some reason. I think that might be something to do with the barcode, though. But let's have a look what's inside. Okay, so this is everything inside the box, and first thoughts. Well, there's a lot of plastic here. For example, why do we need a screen protector? Which, okay, they've listened to us, where the screen protector compared to the older models was sort of tucked underneath the bezel, so it was a bit of a pain to take off. Now it's not. I'm hoping the rest of the ones are like that, and this one's not been done like this just for us. But if you've got a screen protector on it, why do you need a huge bag like this covering the whole of the screen? Because it's not going to get scratched, it's got a screen protector on. Don't need that plastic bag. You've also got the manual inside a plastic bag, as well as another plastic bag with screws in it, which is totally unneeded. Also, the power brick came in a plastic bag. Again, unneeded. The DisplayPort also, believe it or not, came in a plastic bag. Also came with 2 condoms on the end of the cables to stop them getting damaged. Are they really going to get damaged? And then each part of the screen, so the stand and the actual feet of the stand, they come in bubble wrap as well. The only thing what didn't come in any wrap was the actual UK power cable, which was actually quite surprising. Why did they leave out the poor little power cable? Why didn't that get a special bag? So yeah, there's a lot of plastic there. So as you can see, you do have the stand. We'll show you how to put that together. You do have a DisplayPort cable. We'll measure that in a minute. It's a shame they didn't include a HDMI cable, though. Well, it does come with a HDMI connection, no HDMI cable. Unfortunately, you'll have to buy that separately. Personally, I see this all the time on monitors. They'll either give you one cable or the other, and you just generally don't know until you purchase it or you read the fine print. I wish if they give you a connection for HDMI and a connection for DisplayPort, that include both of them. And they're probably one of the least expensive things in the box. So why they don't include both, I don't know. On top of that, we've got the power brick. We'll measure that as well for you. The warranty card does also have instructions in there of how to use the on-screen display. And then you've got the mounting screws and so forth in there as well. And as we said, lots of plastic. So onto the cables. So we've got the DisplayPort first of all. This one is roughly 1.5 meters long. It's a little bit shorter than I'd like personally. I'd prefer something about 1.8, maybe 2 meters long. It's a roughly adequate, I'd say, but it could be a bit of a stretch for some people depending on how you've got your machine set up, especially if your PC is on the floor and your monitor's on your desk. Next, you've got your power cable, what you plug into the wall. This is just under 1 meter long. It is pretty short, but bear in mind you will be plugging this into the power cable or the power box, which then plugs into the actual screen itself, which extends it. And that cable is just over 1 meter long. So you combine that and the power cable together, and you've got roughly 2 meters of cable there, which should be just long enough to plug into your wall socket without any problem. But obviously that depends on how your house is set up. Okay, so we're going to fit the actual stand onto the monitor. It's pretty straightforward. A bit of preparation for you to do first is one, clean the surface you're going to use it on first of all. Make sure there's no debris on there, especially no screws or anything what you're going to put the screen on. Maybe a good idea to get something like a cloth or a towel to put on the table before you put the monitor on, just to protect the screen, just in case. Last thing you want to do is scratch it up. Obviously, keep the screen protector on as well while you're doing this. So, little tips there, what we see quite often where people actually damage screens. Now, the screw to screw this part, the actual feet onto the stand, that is actually in the stand itself, so it doesn't get mixed up with the other ones. Now, when you're taking this out, so you don't actually strip the head, make sure the screwdriver you use does actually fit. This is a cross-headed one. If you're not sure if you're using the right screwdriver, if you put your screwdriver in it, it won't wobble in the actual hole. So if you use a small one, for example, like this, it's too small, you'll see it wobbles about left and right. If you use the correct size, it will not wobble. That way you're using the correct size one. If you're using the wrong one, you can strip the head and then you'll struggle to get the screw out or screw it back in. So you need to take that screw out first of all. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds to unscrew. There we go. It's quite a big screw. Okay, it's even longer than I thought it was. There we go. So that's done. So now all you have to do is get the base. You take the little rubber stopper off the bottom. That's if you can. And there we go. And then you attach it up like that. So it just goes in there. Then you get your big screw, stick it in the hole, and give it a good screw in, and make sure it's in nice and tight. Right, once you've got your screw in nice and tight, then you'll need to attach it to the actual screen. So it gives you a chance to screw it in the number 4 times. So best way to do this is have the screen near the edge of the table. So you'll have the overhang there, and obviously the feet will drop down on the overhang and they won't get in the way, and you won't have to try and balance the screen at different angles. So you get your other 4 screws. Again, make sure they fit your screwdriver, which should be the same or similar, and then screw them in one at a time. What I usually suggest when you are doing this is you do opposite corners and don't do them really tight straight away. Just put them in about halfway, all 4 of them, and then once they're all in, screw them in even tighter. Okay, now you've got all the screws in nice and tight. You'll need to put that rubber piece back on the bottom. That helps stop it slipping on your table. If you notice, there's another 2 on the other ends of the feet there. And then there's this little black clip, what comes in the plastic bag with the screws, what came in another bag, but that's another story, which will just clip over that hole on the back of your screen, which then covers up any of the connections. And there you go, that is fitted. And as you can see, it does move back and forth because you can tilt the screen slightly as well on here. In case you cannot see, or when we get further, there is some connections on here. So you do have your DisplayPort connection, HDMI. There is an audio pass-through as well. That's if you use it something like HDMI and you want to plug in your earphones or something like that, you can do that. It's got a USB. That USB, I'm guessing, because there's only one of them, is not going to be a pass-through. It's just going to be a charging connection, so you could charge up like your phone or something like that from there, and that's where your power cable goes. Otherwise, pretty standard on the back. Okay, let's have a quick look at the screen now. The back is on. As I said, the connections are on there. You do have 4 mounting holes here if you are using something like a wall mount or a stand. You've got all your buttons down here for your power menu and everything like that as well. You've also got a Kensington lock connection there. There is a few vents on the back as well, so pretty standard. It does have a sort of a gamey look to it, I suppose. I don't think any of it lights up or anything like that, but it looks a bit better than just a plain black back on it. On the other side, it looks like a screen, in all honesty. There isn't a huge amount to see other than a screen, so there we go. So you've got the screen. Let's just get rid of this plastic, what they've put on here. Nice to actually see. It peels off easily. But one thing I am noticing, that I've peeled it off, there are quite a few dust marks and what looks like 1 or 2 fingerprints on this screen, unfortunately. Okay, so we've got the screen set up, and wow, it does actually look really, really good, especially for its price. It looks like we're watching something like HDR in 4K, but we're not. This is just a standard HD screen. Well, it is an IPS screen, which does mean it's a nice picture quality, and it's got vivid blacks and so forth, but it's not exactly HDR. But saying that, you probably struggle to see the difference between the two. You've got a nice depth with the colours there, looks really good, and it does stand out very well. Skin colours are very good, night colours are really good. Everything looks like it should be. And if you were just wondering where you are looking at the moment, this is actually in Japan. So it gives you a nice idea. But yeah, I can't really complain on that, to be honest. It looks like I'm looking at a better quality screen than I actually am. So that's nice. Let's have a look what it's going to look like on something like a nature program. As you can see here on the nature program, the blues, the yellows stand out, some nice looking fish on here. And it does really look realistic. And again, it's as if I'm watching a higher quality format than I actually am. Yeah, this is a 32-inch screen. It's HD. Usually they can look a little pixelated if you're a bit close. But actually, the IPS screen does make it look really good. Just bear in mind, though, you are watching this filmed via our camera and then watching it again on your monitor. So it's watching it 3 people down the queue sort of thing in the shop window, so it's not exactly going to look how it does here. But I must admit, the screen quality for what it is, for the budget of the actual screen, is extremely good. It's probably, for its price, probably one of the better screens I have seen on the market. It seems quite sturdy as well. It does have a little wobble, as you can see there, and it's going to, with it having such a small stand, because it is quite thin, the stand. To be honest with you, there's no real negatives as in with the screen itself. The only negatives I got was basically how clean, or should I say unclean, it was. When taking the actual plastic off the screen was quite dirty and dusty, and we've had to clean it to film this, because even when we had videos on, you could see like fingerprints and dirt all down the edges. I'm not sure if that was done in the factory or what, but it seems a bit daft having plastic bags over it and screen protector over the top of the dirt. It should be the other way around. So they should be clean before you put that stuff on. But there you go. So it gives you a rough idea. It does have a menu system on the back, on the right-hand side, on the back, where you can power it on and go through the menu. You can do your standard stuff, adjust brightness and stuff like that. I don't really need to show you how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. And it also tells you how to do it in the manual. Yeah, I'm actually very happy with this. I think I'm going to actually recommend this product. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. It's really appreciated you made it all the way to the end. Please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and even click that bell so you get notifications of new videos and live streams. It does help support the channel, and supporting the channel basically means that we can release more content for you, and also better quality content going forward. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.